You guys get the wet-headed me. So all you fans of that troll, this is what my hair looks like when it's wet and it's piled on my head. I would leave it down, but I know you guys get bent out of shape when my hair is down. So I'm going to leave it up. And today I wanted to talk about busyness. Why busyness? Well, the trouble with busyness is a lot of different things. Yesterday, I spoke about how the church likes to keep us busy, 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 so we don't think, we don't rebel, we don't do anything. We just keep on with our busy. There's problems with that. First and foremost, you eventually kind of just run out of energy and collapse. I don't know about you guys. And this becomes doubly true when you're dealing with chronic ailments. Okay. Hey, number one fan. I need to just do my little spiel from the beginning here. I'm Suzanne Titkemeyer. I used to write for Pathos for nearly 10 years. I wrote about religion, a column called No Longer Quivering. Please do all the like, subscribe, YouTubey things if you feel like it. Please don't bully anybody. And I'm just talking my opinions today, especially about busyness. I had an epiphany yesterday, a big one. Well, let me rephrase that. Maybe not an epiphany, but maybe an epiphany that I needed to quit running my mouth and I needed to take action. My asthma's been crazy out of control for over 2 weeks now. The first time I was exposed to a dog at Costco that I happened to be allergic to, the person brought it in there and I started reacting very badly. That started asthma off for the first time since February. The second time was when I was in the paint store, started reacting again. The third time was last weekend in church. And then later when I got sprayed with marine bleach. And then I painted earlier this week, even though I was wearing a full mask. And yesterday I had a hard conversation with my husband because we had gone in there and we looked in the guest room, bedroom where we'd been painting. And it was like finally, after years of me having this kind of asthma, because it started when I was 47, finally dawned on me is like, you shouldn't be painting at all if you're reacting and you're wearing a respirator. And I said, well, I was reacting real low level. But for, ever since I figured out what I was doing with the asthma, what was going on with me, I've preached to him that when it starts, I have to do the things to stop it. And one of the things I've gotten better about is medicating earlier, which is why I haven't had asthma, real hard, crazy asthma since then, because now it's like I'm a little congested. I'm going to use the neb. So it dawns on him yesterday. He says, oh, maybe you should just avoid those things. It's like, yeah, I think. So we had a conversation about that. It was a good one. We've had these conversations before. It was like the synopsis in his brain finally connected. I love my husband dearly, but I'm going to tell you, my father used to call him the nutty professor for a reason. He has very little practicality about him. Intellectual all day, he can speak multiple languages. He can do the kind of math that throws my brain into gridlock. I have no doubt that when Steve McRae and his pals are having their intense conversations about all kinds of stuff, that he could keep up. I can't. One time I was on Steve's and he was saying a bunch of crap. No, I got to tell you about that, Christine. First of all, I'm steroid intolerant after my entire life of being on steroids because of my asthma off and on from the time I was born. So I'm now steroid intolerant. I don't do well with steroids. I also don't do well inhalers because inhalers, I'm allergic to the compressed air inside of many of them. One of the worst, when this first came on when I was 47 and when it first returned like this, compressed air was the thing that was making me go crazy. So I only use a nebulizer now. Now I have a nebulizer treatment that has 2 different drugs in it. I use that. I don't use steroids unless absolutely forced to because I know there's going to be consequences and side effects. Well, it finally dawned on my husband yesterday because I popped a real high fever and I said, yeah, I got to go to the doctor on Monday and have them do blood work and figure out where the infection is. And he said, well, why are you having an infection out of the blue? I said, well, look at what happened to me in February. Bad asthma followed by an infection. That's the way it goes. If you don't get it turned off right away, it spins into these other things. So that's where I am. And I'm going tomorrow to the doctor to get blood work and steroids. I'm not steroids, blood work and antibiotics. It is what it is. So you would think a lifetime of dealing with asthma, and I only had a reprieve from like 15 to 31 where I didn't have asthma. I only had that short of a reprieve, and it only went nuclear crazy when I was 47 and when I was a child. Um, and so we're finally on the same page, and he said, well, relax, I will paint the rest of the guest room. So I'm going to take him up on that. I'm going to hold him with that. He also did not bug me about going to church today for the first time in forever. And I started thinking about that. Why is it, I don't know about you guys, why is it for me so damn hard to just put things down and rest? I deal with enormous guilt when I'm doing that, even though I know intellectually that I must do this to get well. This part does not want to. This part thinks I should be doing X, Y, and Z. I need to be doing this. I need to be doing that. I need to get up and do this. And I don't really need to get up and do anything. I've started thinking about that. And I started thinking about that because I've been doing some reading on the words of Jesus and the things he did. And I've been doing this thinking as I'm writing my book about these churches that keep you too busy to think. And how that's how they hook you in and then they make you super busy. They give you this over the top busyness. It's not a good thing. One of the articles that I was reading about it that I had to circle back around to was Bible Faith Gateway. The article is really good. It's called Breaking Busy. Jesus needed rest, and so do you. So I'm going to encourage you today, whatever it is that you got to put down and think about differently and rest. Because I know this from my old church. If you don't rest, what happens is you completely wear out. You burn out. You fall down. God knows it's happened to me more times than I want to count. One of the things that I was talking about a little bit yesterday was when I was involved with my old evangelical charismatic quiverful church is I got saddled with doing baptism. And that was okay at first, but every time I did it, it became more and more onerous. It became more and more of a chore. And it got so bad that at one point, my house had flooded. My house had flooded because a hot water tank had come apart. And I'm in the middle of hosting baptism, and I'm trying to tell the pastor, hey, I can't do this. I can't do this. Surf Pro is here. They're putting down all the dryers or hauling out my carpeting, a lot of stuff. And I was told, no, you need to keep doing this. Then there was a year I had pneumonia. I was told I should keep doing it. So those things, this is what churches do. And once they have you enrolled, they don't ever want to let you up. And it becomes more than just keeping you busy for the sake of business. At that point, it's, well, this is what you do. You've done this. You're going to keep doing this. This is what you need to do. So here I'm encouraging you not to. I mean, you can look back on some of the earlier writings about the life of Jesus where they were talking about the wedding at Cana, where his mother asked him to perform the miracle of turning the water into wine because they ran out of wine. And he did it, but he kind of gave his mother a little lip about he was just there enjoying himself. He was at a precious friend's wedding, and he didn't feel like it was his time to start doing those kinds of miracles. And as a son of God, he would have known he could do those things. turn the water into wine. Well, I look at that and I think about him being at a beloved friend or relative's wedding, a point where it is relax and rest. It's a break from the everyday, and we all need this. I don't know why we don't set boundaries, why we have such a hard time, because this is a boundary to rest that we really need to set so that you can stay emotionally healthy, physically healthy, spiritually healthy. And there are so many instances in the Bible where Jesus rested. There are over 20 verses that talk about that. And the story of Jesus in the boat, where there's a horrible storm, he's trying to get away from everybody to rest, according to the version I read. And they wake him up because there's a huge storm. Gets up, rebukes the storm, and it doesn't say what happens next, but I like to think that Jesus groggily laid back down on the cushion or blanket, wherever he was, and went right back to sleep. Because we all need that rest. We all need those times where we can. This article goes on to say that it's very important for us to have those times of rest for nothing else. Thanks, Kimberly Ann. I'm going to feel better now that my husband finally gets it after I've explained it again and again and again. He now understands for the first time just how deeply committed I am to having a time of rest and shutting this down. That is my whole focus in my life now. Shut it down. Shut this crap down every single time. And like I said, I'm doing writing when I'm resting. I'm doing more writing than anything else. And it's a good way to stay connected to your spiritual practice because it gives you the space you need for prayer and scripture, for meditation, for whatever your tradition is. And I was talking about Jesus at the wedding. It gives you the time to connect to others. And not just being at a wedding and giving people some great gift. You just have to hang out sometimes in order to get that rest. One of the most important things we can do is take the time to take care of ourselves. I'm not great about that. I'm trying to do a whole lot better. Not necessarily in this order, but it's for me, this is what I'm trying to do. And I know so many people that watch me also have chronic ailments and may struggle with this. If you're chronically ill, making that time for resting, recharging, and recovery is crucial. Now, they have a video called Breaking Busy at the website that talks about it. And I think it's one of the better things I've seen in Christianity about taking time for yourself. Hey, Jan. I think sometimes Jesus allows us to be ill to force us to rest. Maybe. But one of the things I do know is that some of the great mystics of the church withdrew from everything and everyone to have that connection time, to be able to focus in the stillness. And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you just need to lay back and do nothing. There is no virtue in staying busy all the time. There just isn't. You're going to drive yourself crazy. If there was, then we wouldn't see the benefits of play. We wouldn't see the benefits of taking time to do silly things. We wouldn't enjoy the hobbies of stillness, like watching animals, like right now I am. Oh, there's the most beautiful raven in our bird bath right now, who is sunning himself. So there's that. There's just so many things about they're good about rest and self. That's one of the things I think Buddhists do much better at than we do. Buddhists do a lot of meditation. And like I said, I used to do soaking prayer. And I may go back to that because it was a great thing for me. You lay down for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 or 3 hours. I've done it. I used to be able to do it for 3 or 4 hours at a time. Flip on the music and just let your mind wander until you clear your mind. And then you wake up feeling refreshed, even if you don't sleep a wink. And it's not really primarily about sleeping, it's a meditation process. So it's kind of funny. So every time I'm on here ranting about something, a lot of times I'm talking to myself. I am preaching to the stupid choir that is me, the choir of one, because I don't always get that. And sometimes I get really agitated and will stay up doing things that are just not worthy of my time and energy. Like night before last, I was up until almost 2 doing a deep dive on Todd Bentley, of all people. And Todd Bentley ties in with soaking prayer because he was one of the guys whose music I always listened to during soaking prayer. I've been forced to rest during health due to health. I think I ran myself into illness trying to please everyone. Cheryl, that's exactly right. And you can't please everyone, so it's a mug's game to even try. Does that mean you don't do things for other people? You don't bless them? Well, no, that doesn't mean that, but it means that that is not your entire focus in your life. And I saw that in my old church too. I saw people that were so into people pleasing or pastor pleasing or any of that pleasing that they've ended up in some strange places with their health. And this became doubly hard for me once our church decided that if you were a female, you were never, well, especially if you're a female, but men too, they started doing the whole thing with healing, the whole healing ministry stuff. And I'm not saying you can't get healing from prayer, because clearly you can. It has happened. But being told that all illness is because of wrong thinking or demons and stuff, that is just wrong, wrong, wrong. There are some things we are just prone to. I've explained before in my own family, on my father's side, every generation has one crazy asthmatic where the asthma is so crazy they can't keep it under control easily. I am this generation's, and I know who the next generation is, and I am so sorry. But all I can say is at least the medications and the treatments get better and better as time goes on. If this continues, I'm going to see about getting back on a biologic, even if that would mean going every 2 weeks to San Jose to get the injections. It's one of those things. And that all goes to the whole resting thing as well. I do better with time sitting in my little Dutch garden, just being, oh, Cheryl, I love that. I love being outside, just sitting. I also love being in my pool, but I have to be much more well than I am right now because the pool chemicals create a problem for me as well. If I'm having a lot of asthma, then the name of the game is turning it off. The name of the game is staying away from anything that's a trigger, if it's a food, whatever. Yesterday, I just had the best time cooking. I stayed in my kitchen and I made navy bean soup and took breaks when I felt like it and just slowly, slowly, slowly did this stuff yesterday. And it was a good afternoon as a result. My asthma's gotten so bad, I have to start a once a month injection. It's crazy expensive. We find a way to pay the $5K to keep me from breathing somewhat normally. Heather, which biologic are they going to be giving you? Because I was on Xolair for 8.5 years, including some time when it was experimental, and then it quit working for me. So we're talking about biologics again. I'm not sure if it's my connection. Audio isn't working well. It could be mine. Could be my connection. Being in nature is awesome. It's probably mine. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to go lay down. I may go outside and sunbathe for a while because that always helps a lot. Not get in the pool, but just sunbathe. Let my hair dry in the sun because it's all wet. I just took a shower and Taking a shower when the husband's not here is the best thing ever. I tend to do those things a lot more when I'm sick than the other time. Fasenra. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at that. Yeah, vitamin D always helps me. Sunshine always does. I know they say that sunbathing can give you skin cancer. Well, I'm pretty dark skinned. And I always get everything that looks weird go examined and cut off. So I'm very aware of that. I'm lucky to have a lovely park a block away to enjoy. Cheryl, you are lucky. That's one of the things I miss about where we used to live in Copeta Delta. There was a park in the middle of town. I would go sit down and read sometimes there. Sometimes I would get on the bus and I would go to Santa Maria and sit in their park and read. Or if I really felt ambitious, I'd take the bus all the way to San Marcos and look at their park. That's something I've always enjoyed doing that always makes me feel better is going and sitting outside. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do, especially since it sounds like I've been having problems with the internet. It means I won't be able to do as many live streams. Okay. Love you guys, and I'll see you later.